Hell here, joined with a undefeated prospect in fights between lightweight and 140 pounds. My man 10-0, Joshua Pagan, fighting in Puerto Rico on DAZN next month, October 18th. JJ, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Well, let's catch people up to speed, man, that may have not been able to see you fight before. I think last fight was technically at light welterweight at 137, but are you planning on campaigning at lightweight?
Yeah, 135 is the weight that I'm fighting at from this fight on. So I feel good making the weight and I feel like I can make a splash at that weight.
Now you fighting in Puerto Rico, man. Are you Boricua? Are you Puerto Rican descent or what's your background, brother?
Yeah, so my dad's side of the family, they're from Puerto Rico, Aguas Buenas. Uh so my grandfather's from Puerto Rico. My dad was born in Michigan, but his family, he has a lineage from Puerto Rico, so yeah.
No, it's dope, man. So, but yeah, man, at 10-0 in the this is one of the most loaded divisions still in boxing. You got Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis. Early in your pro career, do you already size those guys up and check size them up?
Yeah, I mean, I look at every fighter in the weight class, and I'm just preparing myself for when I do get those fights, in the future. I'm on the right track right now. I have a good resume so far. I've been fighting pretty tough opposition, and I feel like that's the best way to go when you're trying to be an elite fighter, is just fighting tough opposition coming up.
Yeah, this is the second straight undefeated guy, back to back 13-0 guys that you're fighting. What do you think about your opponent and being that it is going to be televised on the zone, what are you trying to show in this fight?
Yeah, so the guy I'm fighting is Trevor Thompson, 13-0 from Canada. Really tough guy. I've seen a lot of his fights. Uh, I feel like there's a lot that I can capitalize in that fight, so I'm preparing to the best of my ability, and I know I'm preparing for the best version of himself as well. So that's what I'm getting ready for right now.
You're pretty tall for the weight class at 5'10". Do you feel like that's an important attribute for you at lightweight going forward? And for people who haven't watched tape, what would you say are your best attributes and what your style is as a fighter?
Yeah, so I feel like 135 is the perfect weight because of my height. I'm like 5'10", 5'10 and a half. So just my ability to use my jab and just my movement. I feel like I'm a very elusive fighter, and if I have to fight on the inside, I can, but I can also box on the outside. So I feel like those are some of my advantages at this weight.
Your last amateur fight looks like you got a win over Keon Davis, the brother of Keyshawn Davis. He's set to make his pro debut. Who are some of the other notable guys fans may have heard of that you've even sparred with, if not fought in the amateurs?
Yeah, well, I fought Keon Davis, beat him to win the national tournament. Very, very great, good fighter. Very great fighter. Uh, I've sparred Bruce Carrington. I've sparred DeMichael Harris. He's an up and comer, 130 pounder. Very solid. Um, I've just sparred. I've sparred a lot of people. I can't think of them right now, of course, but I've been in the ring with a lot of people, and just I've gained a lot of experience sparring a lot of these fighters. Another one that I've sparred is what's his name? Shoot. Well, he was on the USA team. Trying to think.
What weight class was he at?
I believe he was 140. Vershawn Lee.
Okay.
He was on the USA team. Fought him 3 times actually. So and also got some sparring with him. So just a lot of great fighters that I've been in the ring with and shared the experience with.
Yeah, and coming up from Grand Rapids, obviously, like the most famous fighter that's come from there, probably Floyd Mayweather. But also great fighters from around. Just Michigan's always been a hotbed of great fighters in boxing. Um, So can you take us through that, man? Coming up as a fighter in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I grew up watching Floyd Mayweather. The first boxing match that I ever watched was Mayweather versus De La Hoya, and I just remember having my whole family there with us in our apartment, just watching that fight. And I just remember, I thought to myself, like, this is what I want to do. Like, I just saw the atmosphere and just the magnitude of that fight, and I was like, this is like that from that moment on. That's what I knew I wanted to set out and become a fighter. You know, a lot of great fighters: James Toney, Floyd Mayweather, even going way back, Stanley Ketchel,
Yep.
another fighter from Grand Rapids. But yeah, just it's just been great having this lineage and I just want to be as great as them, if not greater.
Well, yeah, earlier in the interview, you mentioned some of your best attributes is your jab and your movement and your smarts. Was part of that growing up, looking up to guys like Floyd?
Oh, of course. Guys like Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are the top two guys that I grew up watching. So like, I feel like the speed of Pacquiao, the speed of Mayweather, and the elusiveness of both of them is what really made me like. It inspired me to take a lot of things out of their game and incorporate it into my style.
Do you shoulder roll, JJ? You got a little bit of a
Uh,
yeah.
Sometimes I do it, but I try to keep my hands up as much as I can.
Is
You
that
know.
tougher when you're got a tall frame too to kind of to try that to try and shoulder roll? Is that kind of not ideal for your body type? I guess I'm asking.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. A lot of the short guys, you know, they're kind of harder to guard against, honestly, because they can come up with their head sometimes, or just they have shorter punches, so you just have to adjust any way you can in there.
Who as of right now, because you're obviously on your way working your way up. Who do you think's the best lightweight in the game right now?
I have to give that to, I mean, Gervonta Davis.
Hmm.
I mean, I think he's the cream of the crop, honestly. I mean, there's Canelo and there. I think there's Tank. Tank is right there. You know, that's who I think. Shakur Stevenson's also great. Zepeda's great too. But I just think Gervonta's just at that other level. You know.
Do you ever like even daydream or think to yourself about sharing the ring with him one day, or you feel like two different timelines? You know, you're on the come up, and by the time you get there, he'll be in another weight or do yeah something else.
I mean, I dream of fighting all of them.
Yeah.
Honestly, that it's my dream to fight all of them. I envision every fight in my head. You know. Uh, we'll just see what happens. You know, I feel like there's plenty of time for us both to fight. We're both young, you know. I feel like eventually we'll get that opportunity.
What has been in your mind and in your team's mind a realistic timeline for getting into the top 10, fighting for titles and things? Is it you're 24 right now? Is it a 2 year plan, 3 year plan? What would you say it is?
I feel like next 2 or 3 years, for sure. I feel like that it'll be the perfect time. I'm 11 fights in. Well, number 11 is coming October 18th, but you know, I've been very busy fighting and fighting since 2022, fighting as a pro. You know, getting 11 fights in that amount of time, you know, it's very good. You know, I just feel like I just leave it in God's hands, you know, and I just train hard and do what I have to do. And I'm ready for the next step, honestly.
Well, your promoter is Dimitri Salita. Is that correct?
Yeah, yep.
You get any chance to catch up with like Claressa Shields? I know she works with Dimitri and she's pretty welcoming, especially with American fighters on giving them some game, giving them some whatever she can. You get a chance to catch up with Clarissa?
Yeah, Clarissa's great. She's great people. I've sparred her a few times in some
Oh,
of her camps, you know, so she's a really good fighter. You know, she just gives me advice to just keep working hard, honestly. You know, because that's what it takes. Consistency, discipline, you know, just things like drinking, smoking, none of that stuff is none of it's beneficial to you, so you just have to just stay away from it, eat healthy, just train smart too, as well as train hard, because you just want to be in the best shape physically and even mentally. So
Was that is it difficult sparring a woman like Claressa who can may very well fight better than some men for sure, and it's like you're still fighting a woman even if it is Claressa, but she's so good that I can imagine she puts you in a situation where you basically got to spar as if she was a man. Well,
yeah, yeah.
what was that like? What was that like? Yeah.
I feel like the first time that we sparred, I was thinking like that, she's the woman still and everything. But just seeing her skill set and how she fights in there and just her mentality when she's in the ring, I gotta give it my all. I have to give her that top work, because she's great for a reason. She's the GOAT for a reason. So, I just when I spar her, it's like I'm sparring a man, honestly. Yeah,
Well,
that's how I gotta think of it.
Well, I remember people like they scoffed when she told the story about the Russian fighter. She said, he emptied his gloves, did something with the gloves,
Yeah,
and then he got the knockdown. And social media could be disgusting, and I remember thinking like, I'm hearing her out. Like I think I think she might be on the money. Like this guy may have done something with her gloves because of what you're talking about. Like this girl can hold her own, especially if it's
yeah.
a man who's in a smaller weight class and everything. So, um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Just any thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know for sure if that was the case or not. I mean, he looked like a pretty heavy guy, you know. I mean, he looked pretty big,
Right,
like
right.
compared to her. But I mean, anything can happen there. The sport is also it can be a dark and dirty sport, honestly. So anything could have happened that day. He could have took some stuff out of his gloves or anything.
Yeah, no doubt. But before you get out of here, man, is there anything you want boxing fans to know? Not even just ahead of this next fight on October 18th, but just in general. Anything you want to put them on notice about or want them to know about JJ Pagan?
I mean, I just want people to know like this 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 path that I'm on, it hasn't been easy. Like nothing's been handed to me. I've been working at this for 11 plus years. Going to school, not doing any other sports. I really sacrificed a lot of my time and to this. I missed many holidays, missed many birthdays. So like I'm really dedicated my life to this. So I'm just I'm just on a path where I just want to be great. That's really what it comes down to. And I feel like for anybody that's looking up to me and that is pursuing boxing, just be consistent with it. Consistency is that is the key to everything, honestly. If you want to be great at something, you have to be consistent. You have to do everything that it takes to be the best that you can be. Whether it's in boxing or just anything in life. You just have to be consistent with it.
Yeah, it reminds me of Jake LaMotta, from Raging Bull. He
Yeah,
said, to be great, you got to be willing to do boring things sometimes. So,
exactly. Yeah.
wait. JJ, thank you for your time, man. Again, JJ 10-0, fighting 13-0. Trevor Thonson in Puerto Rico on the zone. Best of luck, JJ. Thank you for your time, man.
And thank you for having me.